Live. Live. I'm gonna lose tracking so often when I do this. You guys wanted an ASMR stream. And now you get it. Oh, it's right there. That's good. Oh my god. That noise was so loud. I'm gonna go bigger. I go bigger. I keep losing tracking because I go too low. Thank you for the follow. I'm gonna mute the Twitch alerts. I'm gonna mute the Twitch alerts when I do this. Naive player. Prop up my mic a bit. With what? Hold on. Hello. This is better. Do you guys have any requests for like what you want me to do? A silly Miwo rant. What am I ranting about? I can bark again. Unsolved. You really want me to bark again? It's so loud. It like picks up my voice crystal clear. What if I just ear raped? I think that wouldn't be a good idea. having whispering fits. I don't whisper, I just talk in a quieter voice. I didn't bog. Boggers. Boggers. We can't do your licking anymore. It's banned. Your licking is banned. Ada, ada. Ada, ada. Oh my god, that's so loud. Ada, ada. That's too loud. Ew. Yeah. Where? TTV Asian K9, thank you for the follow. I'm actually on the right here. Oh yeah, probably because it's like backwards. I can flip it. Is this better? Wait, no, now I'm like... I flipped the deal around, I flipped me around. There you go. The deal is now flipped. Is it flipped? I don't know. I don't know if it's flipped. It's not flipped. I have to like turn it around. Yeah. I turned it around so I could talk into the microphone. Is that better? I'm gonna still use all. Was it really loud? Okay. Do you guys want me to read a copy pasta? Sorry, I didn't realize it was super loud. Read the funnies. Okay, I don't know what's it. I'm in the middle of carrying out a League of Legends game. I'm about to close it out. And now, my braless wife brings me a sandwich. It's not asked for. With chips. As I get a double kill bot lane. How's your day going? What the fuck? So random. My chair is too forward for my microphone. The tweet from Ninja, damn. Oh, should I read r/no sleep? r/no sleep. Alright, I'm gonna look for no sleep. Those are like the stories that I enjoy reading the most, so I'm gonna read those. I'm also gonna check on my food. Thank you for the follow. I did do the request. Okay. Are you guys ready? I listened to a true crime podcast about myself. Every night on my walk home from work, I listen to these true crime podcasts. Even though my favorite podcast already released their episode for this week, the app said that there was a new one. Excited, I hit play. It was a small town, the kind that still has mom and pop shop lining the streets, and the kind where everyone knows your name. But little did the residents know that they would soon be rocked by a horrible crime. I stopped at the traffic light. The red glowed in the darkness, glinting off the wet street. A black SUV slashed by. Across from me, eerie blue refrigerated lights glowed from inside a corner deli. And the chairs all up on the tables and the feet in the air. And the signal turned to walk. That chilly September evening was no different for the young student. She left her shift at the local store and walked back home. Except she never made it home. A young student, local store? Damn, this was sitting close to home. I was a part-time student at the Franklin Community College and worked at a local convenience store. And of course, I was walking home. Wait, please. I glanced behind me, looking at the alleyway behind. Hello? Looking at the alleyway behind Alessandro's pizza, which was dark except for the neon lights spilling from the sign. Her boyfriend reported her missing the next day. The town conducted a volunteer-led search, and after 2 days, they found something. That was when the dread formed in my stomach, anticipating a body. But what he said next was so much worse. Washed up on the shore of the Worthington Lake, they found a pair of size 9 red Converse sneakers. I stopped. I looked down at my red Converse sneakers, damp from the rain. What the hell? My heart began to pound. The shoes were sent to a forensic analysis, who would compare its wear pattern to another pair of shoes to try and determine if they belonged to the victim. A rumbling sound made me jump. I turned to see a dark SUV turning left at the intersection. Didn't I see that car a few minutes ago? Maybe it's following me. And the car passed me and disappeared into the darkness. Come on, Sarah, get a grip. Converse the popular sneakers, a little old-fashioned. But still, 9 is a common woman's shoe size, and what college student doesn't have some sort of jump? What, you think you're listening to some sort of prophecy of your own death? Yeah, right. After a few weeks, the results came back. The analysis was certain the shoes belonged to none other than Sarah Campbell. This is when the blood drained from my face. Sarah Campbell? My name? What the fuck? How? I didn't have time to think, so I forced myself to move. I broke into a run. The small shops turned into a colorful blur. Searching the lake came up empty. Without a body, a crime is hard to solve. But the police didn't give up. Finally, a witness came forward. Someone had seen a car parked at the lake that night around 2 a.m., a black SUV with darkened windows. No. What the hell is going on? I whipped around, and the street was empty. There was no people and no cars. No witnesses, said the little voice in the back of my mind. And the one that's watched one too many true crime stories. My eyes scanned the shops. Everything is closed. There are 6 black SUVs, matching the witness's description in the Franklin area. But one of them in particular caught Detective Nolan's eyes. It belonged to John Kelly, a registered sex offender. The sound was so soft, I almost didn't hear it over the voice of the podcast. I whipped around and there it was, 2 blaring white headlights behind me, coming from a black SUV. I forced my legs to pump faster, yet the car didn't speed up. It crawled along slowly, taking its time, like the driver knew that he could catch me, and no matter what. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow, everyone. No matter what. I glanced back, trying to make him out behind the darkened windshield, but the headlights were too bright to see anything. Kelly wasn't just a registered sex offender. He had been convicted of assaulting a woman he worked with who had multiple piercings and short dark hair, just like Sarah. The car rolled down the road, stalking me like a lion stalks a prey. It veered left onto our dark residential streets. Just a few more steps, and the headlights flashed across from me, illuminating my running shadow on the pavement. I didn't look back. I just ran as fast as I possibly could. The little brown house with the yellow shutters came into view. I sprinted across the grass and grabbed my keys from my pocket. Click. I threw the door open and slammed it shut behind me. I turned the deadbolt and collapsed against the door and cried. I heard the rush of a car passing our house and continuing down our road. But I wasn't safe. Gabe wasn't home yet. I was alone in a dark house with someone driving down the street who knew exactly where I lived. But it wasn't coming from outside the door. Still sobbing, I checked all the locks and I called Gabe, who assured me that he was only 5 minutes away. I made my way down the dark hallway and headed into the bathroom. I set my phone on the counter and grabbed a couple of tissues, and then I began to blow my nose. Click. I jumped and whipped around, but it wasn't coming from outside the door. My phone screen lit up. The podcast was still playing. I must have hit it when I put the phone down. It skipped several minutes forward according to the play indicator. What do you think happened to Sarah? The baritone asked. I reached for it to turn it off. Well, she told me she wanted to run away before. I stopped dead. It was Gabe's voice, clear as day, coming from the speakers. She did? Why? The voice asked. She wasn't happy with her grades, her job, her parents, and sometimes she told me that she dreamed of just moving to some random state and leaving it all behind. I froze, staring at the mirror. I've never said that. Never. Okay, I was lying. I mean, that was hurtful to me as her boyfriend, you know? I thought we were gonna get married someday. But apparently she didn't feel the same way. So, you think she just skipped town and is happily living her life out somewhere else, rather than being abducted or murdered? Applause. Yes, that's exactly what I think. That's all for now. Thank you to our listeners. And the outro played. I stared at my reflection, everything coming all at once, my mind trying to race and catch up with what I meant. The front door creaked open, and the footsteps sounded outside. Sarah, I'm back. I backed away from the door. Sarah? My eyes fell on the window. I ran over it to it and turned the lock. I popped the screen up, and then I swung the leg over and pulled myself through the window. And I ran as fast as I could. That's the end of the story. That podcast was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. I feel like the microphone's weird because I'm using it backwards. But do you guys like it like this? Or do you guys like when I'm on the front like this? Also, hi Eskimo. Hi Sound. You live both? Try to do more scary stories. I probably have like time for like one more. What's toaster meal? That's where I become a toaster. And then I eat you. No one wipes their ass sitting down. You guys want one more story? One more. Okay. You guys ready? Okay. I'm gonna read into this here only. Okay. This is gonna be right ear ASMR. And we're only gonna read into this here. Okay, you ready? I'm calling this right ear ASMR. a clown at Jake's party, my dad said. Just be nice. All you have to do is be nice, my mom added. I didn't understand why they were so worried, and why my mom kept wiping her hands on her dress the entire drive to Jake's house, or why my dad kept taking deep breaths. Were clowns supposed to be at birthday parties? When we got to Jake's house, there was something going on. The kids were running around the yard and jumping and bouncing and jumping in the bouncing castle, but the adults were standing around in silence. Their eyes darted back and forth across the yard, while some of my aunts and uncles walked in and out of the house periodically. It's like they were all waiting for something to happen. As I jumped in the bouncy castle along with the rest of my cousins, I noticed a movement in the bushes near the gate that led into the backyard. I kept bouncing, trying to get higher each time in order to get a better look at whatever was there. And finally, I saw the clown appear from behind the bushes and watched as he unlatched the gate. I stopped bouncing, and I tried to maintain my balance as I watched the clown step into the yard and close the gate behind himself. I pushed my fingers through the mesh in the bouncy castle, and he pressed my face against it, staring at the clown as he scanned the backyard until his eyes landed on me. He stared at me for a few seconds, and I stared back, not really knowing what to do. Nobody else seems to have noticed him yet, and my cousins continued bouncing around me. He was short and wore a curly rainbow-colored wig. His face was white, and it seemed like his skin was naturally that pale. It didn't look like paint at all. His lips were a normal size but bright red, and he had a giant round red nose, and his eyes were dark. So dark I couldn't distinguish the pupil from the iris. He had two black lines that started above his black eyebrows and ran down his eyelids to the top of his cheeks, which appeared to be inflated with something. They were round and protruding, with a pink blush on them. His skin was smooth like porcelain. He wore yellow polka-dot pants that were held up by red suspenders, and a white shirt with giant red buttons down the front, and red ruffles around the neck, chest, and sleeves. He wore shiny red shoes, red clown shoes, and carried a gift bag in one hand. I don't know how long I stood there watching him, but suddenly I was being pulled out of the bouncy house by my mom, and she dragged me to a table and sat me down in a chair in between herself and my dad. I continued to watch the you guys like the whispering? Or do you want me to talk with my normal voice? You like my normal voice? Okay. And do a poll in the chat. Tiger. Hey, filter. What the fuck is GWYF? Very young key, thank you for the follow. Oh, it has gold with your friends. Damn. Yeah, my voice level. Thank you for the follow, okay, Lewis? Actually, I'm gonna talk like this for the rest of the story, okay? Do you guys like my voice better like this? No. I'm gonna finish this story. It's a book Jake said. He saw his mom sigh in relief, and Jake turned the book over in his hands. Looking at it was a small hardcover book of a glossy dust jacket that had a drawing of a beach on it. Jake thanked the clown and walked away from him, through the gate, and away from the house. Once he was gone, Jake's dad snatched the book from him. I asked him about it later, but he told me that his parents had thrown it out. I saw the clown a few times after that. At every cousin's 10th birthday, he would show up in the same outfit and give them a hardcover picture book that their parents would get rid of. When I was 10, the same thing happened. Although I begged my parents to let me see the book, they declined. Okay. The night of my birthday party, I snuck out of my room and saw my dad go up in the attic with my book. I tried to find it a few times after that day, but he had hidden it well, and it was nowhere to be seen. I once asked my parents why any of us have birthday parties if they were so afraid of the clown, but they told me that the clown would show up anyways. He always knew. I didn't see the clown for a couple of years after that. All my cousins had passed the age of 10, but none of them were old enough to have their own children yet. When I turned 20, my parents died in a car accident. I inherited their house, but by that time, I had forgotten all about the clown and the book, and I didn't care whether to read it or figure out why they had taken it away. And then about 12 years later, my daughter Wendy had her 10th birthday party. My wife knew about the clown, and we had already seen it appear once before at Jake's twins' birthday party. We'd prepared Wendy and given her the same warnings my parents had given me. Be nice to the clown. About 30 minutes into the party, the clown jumped over the backyard fence and wandered over to the table where Wendy and her cousins were getting makeovers. I stopped myself from running over and stopping him. He looked exactly as I remembered him. Not a single thing about him had changed. Not even his outfit. As he caught my niece Alice's eye, he pulled out a blue balloon from his pocket. He blew the balloon up and then pulled another balloon and then used them both to form a hat, which he gently placed on her head. I watched as she thanked him, and he clapped his hands together and continued to walk around my backyard. Nobody ever tried to stop him, because we had always been warned not to. We were specifically never told what would happen if we tried, but we knew it was bad, and none of us wanted to find out what it would be. When it was time to open the presents, I continued to eye the gift bag in the clown's hands. Once Wendy was done opening the gifts given to her by her family members, the clown approached her and handed her the bag. She took it gently, slowly opening it, and digged around the tissue paper until she pulled out the book. "Thank you," she said, smiling at the clown. He took a bow and then walked away, jumping back over the fence. I let out a sigh of relief once he was gone, and I approached Wendy, taking the book away from her. She didn't seem to mind that I was being taken. She seemed glad. I decided to hide it up in the attic, just as my parents had done with mine, but as I stared at it in my hands, curiosity was beginning to set in. This one had a drawing of a girl that resembled Wendy, standing in front of a birthday cake and about to blow out the candles. She had the same curly brown hair and green eyes as Wendy. I opened the book and noticed an inscription on the inside of the cover that said "Happy 10th, Wendy." The first page was blank, but the next page is where the story started. There was a drawing of the girl on the cover, wearing a party hat and holding a pile of gifts. Under that it read, "Today is Wendy's 10th. How happy is she? She got every gift she wants, and even things she doesn't need." I turned the page as I continued to read the story that depicted various drawings of a girl that resembled my daughter as she did various birthday party activities. Wendy laughs along with friends, and all her guests are filled with glee. Wendy tries to sneak a peek at every gift she receives. There are drawings of Wendy with family and friends, everyone smiling and hugging Wendy. And then from the backyard fence comes the best guest in them all, a funny clown, here to have a ball. And on that page was a drawing of the clown as it jumped over the fence, grinning. This clown loves to party, and will love his 10th birthdays too. He will never miss a chance to show up where he's next year. The drawing was of a clown in the center of the page, surrounded by black. But his birthday is different. Something big is gonna happen. The clown is so excited. This doesn't happen often. I turned the page to see a drawing of the clown running around the party and chasing the guests who appear to be frightened. They had been drawn with their mouths open wide-eyed as they ran away from the clown. The clown runs away around the yard and pulls something from his pocket. Not a balloon, and not a handkerchief, but something big, sharp, and shiny. The next page had a drawing of a gleaming butcher's knife dripping with blood. A lot of guests must die, but don't worry, Wendy will be fine. The next 4 pages contained various drawings of the clown slaughtering people at the birthday party. Some had their necks sliced open, and some were stabbed, and some even lost body parts. This clown has had his fun. His job here has been done. Happy 10th birthday to Wendy. You'll see you at the next one. And the last drawing was of the clown jumping back over the fence, leaving a pile of dead bodies behind him. I shut the book as a chill ran down my spine, and I realized why our parents never showed us the books. Especially if they were old as creepy, and I wondered why the clown would even give us these books. As I tossed the book on top of the fridge, I heard the first scream. I ran to the door and threw it open just to see in time everyone running away from the clown. He was back, and he stood right by the fence with a butcher's knife in his hand, and on the ground next to him was my cousin Paola's child, Trevor, face down in the grass. I scanned the backyard looking for Wendy, but she was nowhere to be seen. All the guests ran around the yard trying to get as far away from the clown as possible, and I watched Jake as he tossed his children over the fence into the neighbor's yard, followed by his husband and then himself. I looked for my wife as I spotted her running towards me and into the house. "Where's Wendy?" I grabbed her arm and asked her. "She jumped the fence a while ago. She's fine. We need to hide." She dragged me inside, and as the screams continued, a few more family members made it inside, and we hid inside the kitchen and living room. And after a while, the screams died out, and I slowly got up and opening the door and peering into the backyard. "He's gone," I said as I threw open the door and walked outside. There were a total of 10 dead people, and after a few minutes, the cops arrived, and so did Jake and his family and Wendy. I ran to her as I saw her coming up the driveway, picking her up into my arms. I kept her by my side for the rest of the night as we answered questions. I didn't tell the police that I knew the clown, as they would never believe my story about the curse, and instead, we all told them that we had no idea who the clown was, and that we hadn't hired anyone. Hours later, everyone was finally gone, and Wendy had gone to bed, and I went downstairs and helped my wife clean up some of the mess. Once we were done, I grabbed the book from on top of the fridge, and I handed it to her. "What's this?" she asked. "It's what he gave her, Rose," I said as she opened it. "Read it." I waited for her to finish reading the book, and once she was done, she tossed it onto the counter. "What the fuck? Did he plan all of this? Is this supposed to be some stupid joke?" I shrugged. "Did this happen to everyone else?" "I don't know. Our parents never let us see the books," I replied. "This is so fucked up, David." I stood in silence as Rose grabbed the book again, giving it a disgusted look. "I'm gonna go look for something," I said suddenly. I made my way into the attic entrance in the hall and pulled down the ladder. I slowly made my way up, each step creaking as I stood on it. And when I reached the top, I flipped the switch and the lights turned on, illuminating the attic enough for me to see her. I dug for countless boxes and moved old decor and furniture around until I found it. The book that was given to me on my 10th birthday. It had been hidden under a cushion of an old chair. I opened the book and found a similar engraving on the inside that read, "Happy 10th, David." I turned the pages and began to read the story, ignoring the pictures. Today's David's 10th birthday. Oh, what a good one it will be. David eats pizza. His favorite topping is cheese. He has a water balloon fight with Eric, and they take cover in the trees. Everything is fun, and soon it will be great. Here comes the clown. He is never ever late. David's birthday was a blast. His gifts were also fun. But don't be sad that it's over. The fun has just begun. Years go by, and the clown sees Dave again. It's now his daughter's 10th birthday, and hey, the fun will end. A lot of guests had fun, and for others, this day was their last. But David's family is alive. Thank the clown for that. And now, it's time for bed. Time to get some sleep. Don't forget to check on Wendy. She hasn't made a peep. The final drawing in the book showed an empty bed in a dark room, with a window that was wide open. I stared at it for a second before it hit me. I tossed the book aside as I got a sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach, and something was wrong. "Wendy?" "What's going on?" Rose called. I didn't reply as I hurried down the ladder and ran into the hallway, into Wendy's bedroom. I threw the door wide open. I flipped on the light switch to look around the room, but I was already too late. Wendy was gone. Her bed was empty, and the window was wide open. That's it. That's the end of the story. Wendy's dead. Wendy's dead. Bruh. Bruh. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat dinner. Yay. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. That's a quick stream. It's a short stream. It's an ASMR stream. And yeah, that's it. That's it, boys. Good night. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Enjoy my stream. Thank you. I'll probably stream later. I'll stream games. Play Limbo. But I got to work. We're gonna watch Netflix. We're gonna watch Netflix first, and then we're gonna play Limbo. After I do my work, and after I eat my dinner. Okay, good night. Wait, no. See you later. Okay, bye.
連続した僕の夏休みはやがて記憶回路のゲートでいくつかにちぎれて断続的な絵になった